Welcome, gentlemen, to the Loose Dads podcast.
Hello and welcome to Loose Dads from Dadsnet. It's a podcast. It's usually 4 blokes sitting around chatting. It's 3 blokes and an audience sitting around chatting this week. More details on that coming up. My name's Jim. I'm here. I'm back after about 2 or 3 weeks without doing this show, and I've forgotten what's going on, but hopefully
Forgotten how to do it.
I'll hopefully remember your names or something. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Hey, podcasting's like riding a bike, Jim. That's what they say anyway.
Yeah.
So.
We are going to be telling some ace dad jokes very soon. We are going to be looking inside the news, seeing how it affects parents. We are also going to be answering questions from the Dadsnet groups on Facebook and giving them the expertise that they need. And we're not going to be so, I think, it's hubris, I think, what it was last week when I listened to you do the show, Sparky. And
yeah.
Basically, after every bit of advice, you just went, we nailed it. We've done it. And that way is setting us up for a fall.
Right.
Let's never pretend that we know what we're doing.
Sorry, Jim, that's my southern optimism getting the better of me, mate. You know, you ground us with your northern sort of, what's the word? That's still positive, but you know what I mean. You know, you level us.
Let's say gravitas. Let's go for gravitas, right? Yeah,
I
let's
like
have
that.
that.
Grumpiness.
Yeah, one or the other. Chicken, it's, potato. So anyway, I should introduce you to the panel who you've already heard from anyway. What happened the other day on Instagram was, I think, one of the finest bits of Loose Dads content, and only featured one of the Loose Dads, but it was Jack uploaded an amazing rap for the over 30s to our Instagram. If you want to check it out, go to @LooseDadsPod. And I thought, in honor of that amazing piece of content, because it was absolutely brilliant, what I'd do is I would present the panel in terms of the rappers that they would be. So we'll start off with Jack. Jack did the rap. Jack also loves his craft beer. So Jack would be 4-pack Shakur.
Nice. Hey.
Yeah.
I like it.
Really annoyed Brad's not here because he would be, with all his renovations and that, he'd be MC Hammer.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It just works, doesn't it?
And hello to Sparky, who is Notorious SMALL.
Oh,
Notorious.
I really was early with the I miss yous before we came live this evening. I missed you for the last couple of weeks, but I did feel quite tall, Jim. Thanks for bringing me back down to my normal height.
It's fine. And I realized, I heard the hurt in your voice in last week's episode about how I do those jokes. But to be honest, when I thought of that joke, I was so proud of myself. I thought there was no other way. I had to just bring it out, and I had to do that. And I can only apologize. And there'll maybe just be like 5 or 6 more small jokes, and that's it for the rest of the episode. Okay. I would be T-Pain, but because I live in Yorkshire, it'd be pronounced T-Pain.
Yorkshire T-Pain, yes.
Nice. That's good as well.
So, what have we been up to in the last week or so? I've seen exciting things going on. Sparky, you've been on your stag. How did that work out? With all your best mates there, all your really good friends there. Me and Jack weren't, but that's fine. That's okay.
Turns out the guys who I think are my real best mates aren't my best mates either, because they absolutely humiliated me, and I can put about 1% of any photo that was taken on my stag do on my Instagram. So, but it was great, and I didn't die. So, the wedding's still on at the moment. So, well done, everybody.
That's something, isn't it?
It's always nice after a stag do to be able to say, at least I didn't die. Excellent news.
You know what? I've said that after every single stag do I've ever been to. Or I've been able to say that.
Yeah, well, that's that's good, isn't it? I'm glad that there's never been one where you had to unfortunately have died, and and have said, "That's really sad. I've died."
Yeah, just to prove a point.
Yeah, I'm getting to that age where there's no more weddings. Just basically most mornings.
I'm just waiting the sweet release of death.
But there's no more stag do's now. If people are getting married, it's second marriages, and they're going slightly less big on things. So it's, even if there was a stag do, it'd just be a couple of swift pints in the pub, and that'd be about it. So I miss a stag do. I might make some young friends and go on a stag do again.
All right, now you're making me feel guilty, Jim. If you need to go to a strip club, I'm sure someone will invite you on a stag do too. Because I was going to say that's the thing. If you're not going on stag do's, what's your excuse for going to a strip club?
Maybe I thought I was going to B&Q to get a stripper, and you see, I made an accidental turn. Now we haven't got Brad here, and so what we thought we'd do is sort of throw his seat at the table open. Jack, would you like to explain what's going on? Because also, if you're just listening to this on a kind of audio medium, you won't know that this is live stream. So we live stream it every Tuesday night, 8:30, and we have plenty of lovely listeners getting involved and giving their comments. Now today, Jack, they're going to be the fourth presenter, yeah?
They are the fourth presenter. I've actually reserved space on the screen for them this week, rather than just choosing my favourite comments and flagging them up. So down the right-hand side of the screen, my right, I don't know if that's everyone's right. I don't know how this works. On the right-hand side of the screen, you've got a list of all the comments that are left. So anything you say in the comments on the Dadsnet Facebook page or our Loose Dads pod Facebook group will come up there. Or YouTube. We got Dark Knight listening on YouTube. We got Connor, Jonathan. We've got Al, Danny, Paul. Who am I missing? I can't scroll it. Anyway, we've got loads of people. Wendy's not here yet.
Oh,
what?
My mum's not here.
Is Sparky's mum? Does Wendy know what happened on the stag do? Does she know everything?
That's why she's not coming.
Wendy knows a bit of what's happened on the stag do. Right? Yeah. What I'm willing to tell her.
It's on a need to know basis.
Yeah, guys.
She knows what she needs to know.
Yeah, let's move on from the stag do now, guys.
Okay, let's do that. Fine.
I thought you were going to come with loads of stories that you could definitely tell on a podcast for just just blokes listening. But what you've done is you've come on and gone, SJ might be listening.
No, right.
The stag do was wonderful. Nothing happened.
Right, do you want to know the drinking game then? I'll lay this on the table.
All right,
do you want to know the drinking game? We had a drinking game, which was a butt plug that someone went and bought from a sex shop whilst in Amsterdam, because there's many of them about.
I was going to say, if they got sex shops now in Amsterdam. That's great.
So they went and got a butt plug, which was then... Sarah Jane
there she is.
up. And
she's just said, by the way, that she'll go. So, Sparky can discuss it. Just give it 5 minutes while he discusses.
I won't say anything here, babe, that I wouldn't say to you. And that's why we are trusted and loving enough to be getting married to each other. So, yeah, she knows about the butt plug. She's seen the horrendous videos. But so basically...
What a sentence. So, yeah, she knows.
There might be an element that she doesn't know, which you might find out right now if you want me to tell you quickly.
Yes,
obviously.
So they bought this, and it was like it's like a game where if someone drops it in your drink, you have to finish your drink. You weren't allowed to take it out of your cup with your hands. You had to take it out of your mouth afterwards. So you had to then get it into your mouth, and then you were left with like a heart jewel sticking out of your gob. And then you were then in charge of it, and you could, stitch anybody else up on the stag do by dropping it in their drink. But the bit where my mates take it like one step too far is they wanted to have a name for the butt plug. And I was like, okay, well, the butt plug. They were like, oh, no, well, let's name it after your wife to be. And I was like, absolutely not. That is disrespectful. I was like, any other name but that. And so they went, okay, Wendy. And
and that's why Wendy's not here tonight. That's why she's not watching.
Everyone on my stag do going, where's Wendy? Where's Wendy? And who's got Wendy in their mouth? It's just like, it's absolutely. That's
as long as it didn't end the night. Who's got Wendy in their butt?
No, they tried to add that rule to it. If you didn't finish your drink, you had to put Wendy in for 5 minutes.
There we go, yeah.
But you see,
but then it wasn't going in anyone's drink, was it?
You really
that would be the last time, wouldn't it? Yeah.
There's lots of anti-bac around still. COVID was recent. Just give it a rinse, it'd be fine.
I mean, you are swapping it in your gob, so it does show how far we've come in the last year from the world of COVID to now
Yeah,
passing around
yeah.
a butt plug in our mouths. Not
Okay.
ours, because we
If you've
weren't
just switched
invited,
on now, like
obviously.
that is the greatest sentence that's come out of Jim's mouth.
Hold on. I had COVID last week. I'm just thinking,
Is
did
that
someone sneak their butt plug in my drink?
It's
Guys.
literally the only explanation, isn't it?
Well,
It
if you want
explains
me-
that butt plug, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you want me to bring Wendy on the next Loose Dads meetup, don't worry, boys. I wouldn't want you to feel left out. We could play the game.
I mean, I'd like you to bring the actual Wendy. Like, I think that would be good fun. I mean, we're not dipping her in drinks. I don't know. I mean, if she's as small as you, we probably could.
Okay. No. All right. Okay. Moving on, boys. Moving on.
All right.
Help me.
Should we play a game? I think we should play a game. Let's play a game. Jack's not ready to play a
I'm
game,
not ready.
is he?
Sorry. No, I was too busy doing an impression of Sparky's mum in a drink.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's game time!
This is the part of the show where we play a game. So it can be a popular game that we've taken and changed to make it kind of dad-like. It can be something we've stolen from another podcast, or as it turns out this week, something that another podcast nicked from us in advance, because we were discussing what we were going to do on this week's show on WhatsApp. And I mean, yeah, I know it's a surprise that we planned this, right? But we do. I mean, you know, I can tell people are shocked. But there's a certain person who's on our WhatsApp group for this podcast who's also on another podcast from the Dad's Net. And they recorded their show yesterday and got in there with this feature before we did it. Yeah, Jack?
They did, yeah. The Don't Tell Your Mum podcast, which goes out tomorrow, but recorded yesterday.
So actually, so the people listening to our live stream here are going to get that before, and it's going to look like they stole it from us, which they did, even though they stole it from us in advance in a kind of Minority Report sort of way, making Al from the Dad's Net the Tom Cruise of dad podcasts.
Does it make him the Tom Cruise, or does it make him the... Can't remember
no.
another single character in that film.
No, one of the other people who wasn't Tom Cruise in the film Minority Report of dad podcasts, yeah. Yeah, that's slick. So I thought what we'd do, let's just tell some dad jokes. We're dads. That's like our superpower, right? So what we're going to do, we're just going to pass around some dad jokes. Feel free to join in as well. In fact, Al has got in contact already to say he ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon earlier. He'll let us know.
Hey.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Anyway, Jack, can we have a dad joke, please?
Okay. I went to McDonald's and ordered 2 large fries, but they gave me like 75 tiny ones instead.
Hey, that's good. I like that one.
Thank you.
You going next, Jim? Go on, go on. You can go.
I'll go next. Okay. I found some decent vinyl yesterday. It was called Wasp Sounds. I got it home, played it. It didn't sound like Wasp Sounds. Then I realized I was playing the B-side.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I like it.
Right. And, like, are you supposed to laugh at dad jokes, or are you supposed to look appalled? Like, I mean, or
Well, I genuinely find them funny. So
okay.
Yeah. If you're my 8-year-old daughter, you eye roll, which she's getting really good at. So great news. Should we have one from The Dark Knight first? You know?
Yeah.
Let's give Sparky the big build up. What did the Yorkshireman say when buying shoes?
don't know.
Yeezy, lad.
Yeezys. Bet they're expensive and hard to get. You have to go in a raffle to get those as well.
I bet they're hard to get in Yorkshire.
No, I don't think you get them in Yorkshire. I don't think they're selling them in Cleckheaton.
Cleckheaton. Right. Okay. Shall I go?
Go for it.
Okay. What's the best way to watch a fly fishing tournament?
I don't know. What's the best way to watch a fly fishing tournament?
Live stream, of course. We're on a live stream. Not going for that one. Okay.
Yeah, did you know apparently 30% of pet owners let their pets sleep in their beds? So I tried it and my goldfish died.
It's the stupid ones that are the best.
You know what you call someone who tells dad jokes but isn't a dad? A faux pas.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Do you want to stick with me on this one then? Did you hear about that guy that broke down on the side of the road? Run out of petrol. So literally a bee flies in his window, goes, "Do you want me to help you with that, mate?" It's like, "Oh, I've just broken down and run out of petrol." He's like, "Hold on, wait there. I'll be back in a minute. I'll help you out." Goes off, flies back, and he's got loads of bees with him, like loads of bees. And he's like, "Do you want me to help you then? Open the fuel tank." All right, okay. Don't know what's going on here. Opens the fuel tank. All the bees fly into the petrol tank, buzzing around, fly out. Goes, "Try it. Try the engine." Tries the engine. It starts. It's like, "That's amazing. How'd you do that?" BP. Come on. I mean, it's a wait. You have to wait for it, but that's a good one. Come on, boys.
Yeah, not bad. Who went into a pub and he's standing there and there's no barman. He's just standing there. Everywhere is empty. There's no other customers. And then he hears a voice that goes, "What a great haircut." And you're like, "What? Where's that?" And he doesn't know where it's coming from. So he stands there for a bit longer. And then he hears another voice. "And a really nice shirt." And he's like, "What? What is that? It's so strange." And he waits a bit longer, and then he hears another one going, "Yeah, but it's probably the physique of the man that really makes it really good." He's like, "This is very strange." And all of a sudden, the barman comes out, and he's like, "Oh my God, I've just been hearing voices telling me all about how great I look and things like that." And the barman goes, "Oh, yes, sir, that'll be the peanuts. They're complimentary."
We need your drum sound effect, Jack.
I know. I can add it in post. I can add it.
Oh, okay.
You know, people listening to the podcast will hear the drum sound effect.
Okay.
But alas, my iPad has given up on me. I think I need to buy a new one, but I was offered a new job the other day actually, but I turned it down because they were only going to pay in vegetables, and I said, you know, the salary is unacceptable.
Thank you to Dark Knight, who's chipping in with a joke. What do you do if you need the toilet on a roller coaster? Go wee.
Brilliant. Dark Knight's good at this. He must have been a parent for a while.
See, that's like one of the dad joke that I do that makes my son absolutely howl every time. It's about the three blokes who you see the magic slide, and the genie says, "If you go down here, whatever you shout as you're going down, you will land in." So the first one goes, "Money," and he lands in a pile of money. And the second one goes, "Beer," and he lands in a pool of beer. And the third one goes down, he goes, "Wee." That makes my 5-year-old son absolutely wet himself laughing.
Oh, I love that one that's just come in. Who's that? I just see Facebook user, but who's that? So what do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated. That's great.
That's Paul Hetherington on the Restart podcast group. I like that Wendy is now here and she's jumped in with "That's a terrible joke."
Tell you what, Wendy, you should have been listening a few minutes earlier and you'd have had something to really complain about. Hey, that's another download for the podcast. She can download the podcast now. And
there we go.
An extra one. I mean, she'll never listen again.
Sorry, Mum, just skip the first 15 minutes. It's fine.
No. Concentrate on the first 15 minutes. Right. Does anyone else have another dad joke before we finish this section of the show?
Hold on. Let me see what else went there. Okay.
Let's see what else I can steal from the internet.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see what I've stolen. Okay. Come on, boys. What sound does a witch's car make?
I don't know.
Broom, broom.
Right, nice.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Right, okay.
You know about the Inuit man who's out on the ice, cuts the hole, puts the fishing rod in, and hears this voice going, "There are no fish under the ice." He's like, "Whoa, that's weird." Sits there for a bit longer. "There are no fish under the ice." Oh God, this is really strange. "There are no fish under the ice." And he's like, "Oh my goodness, is this God?" And he goes, "No, it's the manager of the ice rink."
I'm trying to remember all these dad jokes that I know, but I've heard that having too much sex can cause memory loss. I read that.
Is that the joke?
No. I read it on page 14 in a medical journal on the 14th of November 2019 at around 3:19. Okay.
Very good. Very good. Right. Come on, then. Next up, we are going to be looking inside the news and finding out how it affects parents, talking about the big news of the day. That's coming up next on Loose Dads. This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet, where you can be part of the show by helping it to bloom and blossom into new and exciting things. We need people to support us, basically, because if we're relying on the Dadsnet, we'll be here a while. So we have our own Patreon, and what we want you to do is, if you would, please go and join up. There's loads of different tiers of membership, but anything that you give us, anything that you can pay for on the Patreon, you'll get loads of great stuff back. You get things like kind of private calls with the Loose Dads. You'll get kind of bonus content and things like that as well. It really helps this show grow and exist, basically. So do go and help us out. It's patreon.com/Loose Dads. So that's patreon.com/Loose Dads. Right, let's have a look inside the news. In the news today, this is Tuesday, 6th of September, 2022. And the big news of the day is we've got a different prime minister. We woke up with one. He gave a blathering speech about some old nonsense, got a private plane up to Scotland, went to see the Queen, went, "I'm quitting," walked out, Jerry Maguire style. And then another person got in a private plane, pretty similar to the other one. Just a few minutes later, flew up, went to see the Queen and went, "Oh, well, I'm starting, if that's all right." Liz Truss is our new prime minister. And then she flew back to London and into what I believe is called a shitstorm. Because if you are prime minister at the moment, you're not going to get that traditional sort of first day in the job, kind of ease in, just, fill in a few HR forms and go and have a look around where the kettle is and stuff like that. You've got some pretty big stuff to deal with. So that's what's on her plate. The energy crisis, the Brexit is still a complete mess. There's the cost of living crisis, which is connected to the energy bills, and she's got to sort out all of that. Not what you want in your in tray on your first day at work, right? Everyone wants that kind of easy entry into the job.
Got all that hard stuff. Plus, she's moving into a house that Boris Johnson used to live in. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that she's going to need to sort out. He's had a couple of kids running around the place, a dog, which we found out today. So
she's gonna have to go in with a black light and just scrub the
wall. Imagine what she's walking into. I mean,
after all those parties, no thanks.
That is a man who has talked about spaffing things up the wall before. So.
Don't envy Liz Truss. What a day for her today, like walking into that. But shock surprise, all we've been waiting 8 weeks for someone to talk about the energy prices and doing something about it. And then they've kept that for the first thing that she's going to do when she goes back through the door. It's like, it's almost like that's a plan or something. I don't know.
I will believe it when I see it. I have intentionally stayed away from the Tory leadership debates and hustings and everything because I just can't take more Tories spouting bullshit at me.
But it's also more Tories spouting bullshit and then criticizing the other Tories for doing the things that they all actually voted for and supported publicly for ages, which now they're saying were the wrong things to do. Which, I mean, you don't get me wrong, you know, whenever I've started a job, I've kind of wanted to do that about my predecessor as well. And I suspect, in a way, she's onto a winner, isn't she? Because she's following Boris Johnson, who's one of the most unbelievably incompetent people that there is in the world.
Not according to his speech this morning, Jim. Like, nailed it. Like, he nailed it. Apparently.
It was. Did he talk about the passing the baton on? I didn't see that bit. I know he's mentioned that a couple of times. He's just hopefully the new leader.
No, he had a different version. Something like he was a rocket that, you know, when the rocket turbo boosts up to space and then it detaches as it breaks orbit. He's like, I'm detaching now, and to land somewhere and come back and earn £1 million a speech somewhere in the future.
Yeah, you know, all quite phallic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boris Johnson's a rocket, passing on his baton, all that sort of stuff.
Hey. Again, Liz, clean the place before you get comfy.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be it. No work is going to get done in 10 Downing Street. It's being fumigated, and quite rightly so as well.
What do you think Boris did? Like, as soon as he left Balmoral, is there a Weatherspoons nearby? Do you reckon he's like, hey, Matty, Hancock, if you're not with your mistress, fancy coming for a cheap pint and a beer and a burger, sorry? Like, I don't know.
The thing is, right, the Queen stayed up in Balmoral because she can't be asked with any of this either.
That is a diss. Or like, you know, she's tired as well. We'll put that
She's
down.
like, nah, not doing this shit. But everyone else in the world over the last couple of years has become au fait with something called Zoom. Could they not just Zoom the Queen rather than
Prime
take
Minister's
private
pretty big
jets
deal, though.
back and forth?
Yeah.
You'd feel shortchanged, though, wouldn't you? Like, you know, if it's finally your moment, right? Regardless whether you like the woman or not, like Liz Truss, you would have worked her whole career to want to get into the Prime Minister's chair. And if they went, oh, yeah, we'll just Zoom you to inaugurate you or whatever, you would feel a bit dissed. Like.
I like to think the Queen would be on a Jackie Weaver power trip.
Yeah, and she's got like a background which isn't the real Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, yes.
It's like pimped up with some corgis wearing sunglasses and stuff sitting behind her. I'd love that.
And Prince Charles going, "You have no authority here, Liz."
Did they have to go and kiss her hand? That's what it was called, the kissing the hand, isn't it? That's what the official one, not the official title, but the title that they give it is. She has to go for the kissing the hand.
I think that was just Boris giving it that title.
Right. Okay.
Your Majesty.
Kissing the butt plug, wasn't it?
Wendy's listening now.
Oh yeah, Wendy's listening.
She's here now.
Okay. No one would ever know. Who knows what that is all about? So first day in the job, first day in the job is like a daunting thing in some ways. In some ways, you kind of want to ease yourself in. You don't want to work too hard early on. But I found, I mean, I've not started a new job for ages. That's why I became freelance. So I didn't have to work with other people because I don't like it. But I remember there was one job, because when I've done radio, you're a presenter and you sort of have like a certain, there's an expectation of you, like there's almost a sort of status, and people sort of accept that you know who you are, and that's fine. But when you go off and work in an office job, I didn't realize how much there's kind of like this tension when someone new comes in and everyone's trying to work them out a little bit. Yeah. And I just remember the first day that I had this office job, the first sort of proper office job that I'd ever had, really. I remember there was like some bloke was challenging me. It was almost like sort of primeval, kind of like stags rutting or whatever.
Don't come in here and be more popular than me, mate. Yeah. We're not having that.
But it was kind of like sussing out, like, are you going to be someone who gets, you know, spoken down to, or are you going to be like a big personality? And what I had my lunch in some quite nice vintage Tupperware, and he's like out of nowhere just went, nice Tupperware. Like, mate,
sorry, Jim. On. I almost did that, and I've not even seen the Tupperware. Yeah. When you say vintage Tupperware, is that like when you ordered a Chinese in the 90s?
No,
and you kept on to it that long?
It. No, the proper good stuff. The good stuff that still has the really good suction lid.
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah. You know, garish colours, always like yellows and oranges and stuff like that. But you know. But still, it was one of those things where it was like, oh, you're testing me. And I'd sometimes, I can be quite extrovert, and other times I can sort of just like sit back and be an introvert. And I remember like, oh, I'm gonna have to make a decision now how I respond to this, and that's going to sort of dictate how I go for the rest of the time here.
Yeah.
And I think I called him a prick in not so many words. But, like,
you started
'cause I
ranting, Jim.
but I decided what I'd do is I'd go for like, I'm going to be the one who's like, kind of, I'm not going to say that. I'm, you can say what you want. It doesn't matter to me. But then there were some people who came in like after me that they'd get like these people, like the established people would kind of try that sort of thing with them. And then they'd be like, oh God, no. And then they'd get this reputation for being really quiet. And the reason they're being quiet is because you've all acted like dicks to them. Like,
hey, it's always those people that have been in the office forever and they feel like they own it. Like it's like,
yes,
shut up, mate. Like back off,
Yeah.
back off. But then there's also like me. I remember my first ever job, and I was in a bookshop, and I was 16. I did it for my work experience at school, and then they said, "Oh, you can have a job when you finish school or whatever." So I went in and got it my Saturday job, and I was that really over enthusiastic person, and I'm not sure Liz Truss is going to be that enthusiastic going into the building today.
Yeah.
But when people are like, oh, reel it in, will you, mate? It's like I get really excited when we sold like, oh, I've noticed we're selling a lot of copies of this book or whatever, or, like, can you believe how many clangers we've sold today? And they're like, piss off, mate. I'm here for my salary and my lunch break. Like that's all I care about. I couldn't care how much this shop makes. But that like new day enthusiasm, I feel like Liz will probably have been hoping for a day like that, but like you say, with the pile of crap that's waiting for her on her desk, she's not going to be able to get enthusiastic.
No, there's not. That's just like straight in, head down. Oh my God, this is all absolute nonsense. But it's nothing to do with me, despite me having been in the cabinet for the last however many years. It's nothing to do with me at all. Sparky, do you have a news story?
Yeah, I do actually. My news story is about a song that we've probably been, the lyrics to it point to it having a certain narrative, but we may have been wrong. You guys familiar with the legend that is Bryan Adams? Of course you are.
Yeah.
I'm aware of his work, yeah.
You're aware of his work? God, Jim, you worked in radio. You know Bryan Adams
exactly.
very well. And the song in question, which I'm about to bring up. So, Summer of 69, right? It's too bad Brad's not in this week. Because Summer of 69, we've all been thinking about, Bryan Adams singing that song about nostalgia of a romance that he may have had in the summer of 1969. But it has recently been confirmed that that's not what he's on about. It's the summer he's 69'd a girl that he was absolutely obsessed with, and that's what the song's about. So next time you hear someone's granddad doing it at karaoke, or your mum gets up and gets really excited when Summer of 69 comes on, think about it's about Bryan Adams having breakfast for two with the girl he loved the most.
Thing is, Sparky, what if the only person who hasn't realised is you, and your mum, when she gets up and sings out a karaoke, knows exactly what she's doing?
Oh, I mean, no, Jack, no, this is not my stag do anymore.
Hi, Wendy.
Right? My mum is potentially listening, and she would get up and dance to Summer of 69, but she doesn't know what that reference is I'm making, just so you know.
No,
Okay.
She's just thinking it's the last year of the 1960s, and it was a lovely summer when he got his first real six string.
And I don't think she'd know. Do you think that was? Do you think that's what real six
What
string?
happened there?
You see,
know.
there are people listening on audio who are not besmirched now, whereas our brains, having seen the mime that Sparky just did, will never be the same again. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever the Google one is, I never remember what it is, then you consider yourself lucky that you did not see that mime.
If you think 6 is a lot, by the way, you should see the size of some of the things I saw in the windows in Amsterdam. You're thinking, what are you doing with that? Like,
Sparky, I'm never going to be able to look SJ in the eye again.
No. I was going to say something there. She's more of a snack-sized Kit Kat kind of girl.
Oh,
right?
mate, that was the time to stop talking. That was the time to stop talking.
Oh, come on. No one's going more than a snack-sized Kit Kat, are they? Otherwise, you just, chill out. Right, moving on.
You stop talking. Stop saying things. You're the
It's
one
live. I can't cut it out.
you're the actual professional broadcaster here on breakfast radio.
I'm not on breakfast radio now. I'm on a live stream with a bunch of other dads telling dad jokes and having a laugh.
Someone in the comments has said you've just ruined a great song. #6string. You've just ruined Kit Kats.
No one can ruin a Kit Kat. No one can ruin a Kit Kat, guys. But next time you're having one, think of me, will you? Nice one.
Well, okay. So, I mean, I do kind of want to ask another question about this story, but I kind of want to move on as well.
No, ask.
So, okay, how do we know that this song is about this and not about what we thought it was?
It was in a CBS interview where asked if the song was biographical, and Adams replied, well, the song actually people think is about the year, but actually it's more about making love in the summertime. And that's what he says. It's using 69 as a sexual reference written there.
Okay, right.
So Ryan's confirmed it, guys. Have a look.
Might be sick out of my nose, so that's good. Right, Jack, have you got a news story?
Oh my god. Yeah, I do. Hooters of Nottingham have been told they're not allowed to sponsor an under-10s football team. After having sponsored them and had the kits made up and posing for photos with them. Apparently the FA have stepped in and said, well, that's not really appropriate, is it?
It might be inappropriate, just potentially.
Why the chicken wings? The boneless chicken wings are so good there. Like, I don't know why. I'm hoping Jackson likes them by the time he's 10. So I don't know what the problem is there, guys. I don't know what you're trying to reference here.
I mean, look, the photos they posed for, they're in Hooters tracksuits. The girls, I mean, not the under-10s. The under-10s are obviously in their Hooters bras. But but people are saying it's sexualizing the under-10s team. And I think it's just spot-on marketing. Yeah. Because who is watching those football matches week in, week out? It's the dads. And they're going to see
about
that.
Them Daytona boneless chicken wings, and you think, yeah,
exactly.
After this game, we're going to. If he scores a hat trick, I'm going to go and buy him a bottomless, bucket of them, and
yeah,
that's great marketing.
Something for him, something for me.
I once went to Nottingham to go and see Notts County against Scunthorpe United, and I was travelling from, I'm going to say Leeds, maybe wherever I was living at the time, can't remember. And my brother was traveling there from Manchester, where he was living. And he said, I will meet you at Hooters, because that's a great place to watch the football at whatever time, like say 12 o'clock. And I was like, all right, fine, let's go there. And I got there at 12 o'clock, only to get a text from him saying, a bit delayed, won't be there for an hour. So I was sitting in Hooters on my own for an hour. Do you know the other type of people who sit in Hooters on a Saturday morning on their own? They're not the people that you want to be associating with. I felt like I was, I mean, I shouldn't have been wearing that long Mac either, to be perfect honest.
Making that noise, Jim. That's not appropriate at the bar.
Look, that's a medical condition. So that's what happened. This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet. On the way, we're going to be answering some of your questions from the Dadsnet groups in the big question of the week, all on the way on Loose Dads. This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet. Hello to executive producer Connor, who is he's on the live stream, but he's also watching the football as well. Which I mean, I've had lots of producers over my time in radio, and that is what they do. So he's playing the role perfectly well.
Also, he hasn't said which football. It might be the Nottingham under-10s.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah, he's gone off to watch the Hooters League. You can catch us on Instagram at Loose Dads Pod. We're also on TikTok. How would they find us on TikTok, Jack, king of TikTok?
Loose Dads Pod.
Same. There you go.
Yeah,
that's good.
Loose Dads Pod. Yeah, I tried to keep some synergy between the online accounts. You see.
Synergy. Who thought Synergy would come up today? We've had Butt Plugs, Call Wendy, and Synergy. This is Loose Dads. Let us do the big question of the week.
The big question of the week.
The big question of the week.
Dad's
Sorry,
there.
I've only just realised that the guy at the beginning of that video ident, looks a bit like a young Jim.
I mean, I didn't really pay any attention.
I'm going to play it again.
The guy who offers the question.
Yeah. I'm going to play it again. Look, it's young Jim. There we go. That's him.
With like a cool turtleneck T-shirt and long hair.
Come on,
Yeah,
if it was
yeah.
vintage, you'd wear it, and you know it. So come
But
on.
when I say young Jim, that's when you were young in the 70s.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I was literally young in the 70s. I was born in 1979. So for 10 months of the 70s, I existed, which is, why Calvin Harris doesn't have love for me, which I'm absolutely gutted about, to be perfectly honest. So the Dad's Net has loads of these online forums on Facebook, and they're all great. They're like kind of for dads to go on there and
More enthusiasm. More enthusiasm. They're all fine.
I didn't want to sound like I was being false. What I wanted to do was just sound like I was being earnest. They're great.
Okay.
Really good. There's a vast array of them, and they're all sort of, some of them are themed like places, and some of them are themed to kind of interests, and there's just like the big community group as well. And sometimes we take questions from there that dads ask, and we try and find answers to them. Last week, you all thought you nailed every answer, and to be fair, you did a much better job than we normally do. So well done to you. But so I thought we'd give it a go again this week, and let's have some questions, see if we can find some answers. This one says, how do you encourage your children to learn to ride their bikes? My 6-year-old can ride a bike, but doesn't like going around corners or on different surfaces other than concrete. And my 5-year-old daughter can't ride a bike, doesn't even want to learn. Every time we suggest it, she says no. All their friends ride bikes and love it, so why don't my two? Anyone got any suggestions?
So we've taken the stabilizers off Jake's bike recently. And he can ride his bike without stabilizers, but he gives up quite easily if something's a bit too difficult for him. Like his attention span just drops off. So he can ride his bike without stabilizers. I have seen it. He is very good. The next time he gets on his bike, he starts riding. The bike falls to the side. He doesn't fall off. It just falls to the side, and he goes, it's too difficult. No, can't. Can I have my stabilizers back on? No, you don't need them, Jake. You go, why don't you ride here on the concrete? No, too difficult. Can I ride on the grass? That's worse.
Sure, that's harder. Yeah,
that's
Much
harder. That's harder. So I don't know. I've not nailed this yet.
I think that sometimes they just do things when they want, don't they? If they don't want to do something, well, like it's not like riding a bike is an essential life skill. It's a good thing to be able to do, but like there doesn't seem any point having a big old stress and pushing them to do something that they're not really bothered about. Like my
live in
5-year-old.
Beijing.
Well, yeah, of course. And we know there are 9 million bikes in Beijing. It's a fact. Katie Melua tells us that. But yeah, my 5-year-old, he had a scooter for ages. And he was like, well, why do I need to ride a bike? I can do this. And it's only just recently he's thought, well, maybe I'll give it a go. And he's got a balance bike, but he's not really that interested in going up to one that's anything else at the moment.
I've heard balance bikes are the way to go. Like that's what we're starting Jackson off on, just because then they can get used to balancing themselves. But yeah, everything in your own time. It's like you might be falling into that. Oh, look what every other kid's doing, and looking at what your kid's not doing. Rather, your kid might be better at reading than all them kids that can ride bikes or other things like that. It's all in their own time, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, the way that a lot of kids around here learn how to ride a bike is because a man called Johnny comes and teaches them, and he's a really brilliant teacher. But it's not just that he's a really brilliant teacher. He's booked in by a lot of mums in our village. For some reason, I can't work out why the astonishingly handsome Johnny keeps getting work. And it's not the dads that ever book him in for the kids. It's always the mums. but he's very busy. It's very difficult to actually get an appointment with him because he's been booked in by so many people. I can't understand it, but to be
Maybe
fair,
he's very thorough, Jim.
he got my daughter riding a bike so easily. You know, he's really good, but also, yeah, I think there might be an ulterior motive by the.
But I think maybe the mums, you know, book him because he always comes around with a Kit Kat for him.
Hey, have a break. you gotta say snack size, otherwise you sound greedy.
Yeah, not for. Yeah, I'm not even going to say the last word. Okay.
No. Should we do another question then?
Also, can I just say there's a lot of power in the name, you know, because his name's Johnny, and that's you know, an all right name. Not to cast dispersions on anyone else's name, but if you'd have said there's a man who just comes around the neighbourhood teaching all the kids to ride bikes, and his name is Keith, I think everyone's mind would have gone to a different place.
Hi to all the Keiths that may be listening.
He, unfortunately, though, he can't spare the time to take the kids to learn how to ride bikes because he's too busy sitting in Hooters on a Saturday morning on his own.
Yes,
This one says, "Hi, dads. I need last-minute suggestions for a luxury weekend getaway for me, the wife, and our 4-year-old.
Whoa.
Who wants a luxury weekend with a 4-year-old? Surely
incorrect.
Any luxury weekend is ruined by a 4-year-old, right?
I love my 4-year-old. I love my 4-year-old, but correct.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Like, I think, you know, if you pick the right hotel, then they accommodate for the kid. I mean, you can't do everything that you want to do on that.
You can't do anything you want to do.
But it's better than staying at home. Like, definitely. You can do some stuff. Like, we did, this is my recommendation, is like go on Skyscanner or Google Flights and literally put your airport that's closest to your house and then put in the destination anywhere. Put the dates in that you've got free and it will give you like a load of places and you might find the cheapest flight. And that's exactly what we did. Found a cheap flight to Faro in Portugal and then looked up hotels that were really quite close to the airport. And we ended up finding a 5-star hotel that was relatively cheap. And yeah, I mean, he didn't wreck it that much. I mean, he probably annoyed everybody else on their holiday more than he annoyed us because we're used to him. But it was great.
Did it feel like luxury or did it feel like just surviving? Because that's what I figure. That even, you know, when your kids are a bit older and mine are a bit older and they're really well behaved and nice and sensible, but it still just feels like surviving. It doesn't feel like luxury. I don't think I'd take them anywhere. Where,
yeah, I mean, Brian's made a good point in the Facebook comments. Perhaps luxury includes childcare.
Okay, well, that would feel like luxury, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and also, hi, Leanne.
Leanne.
She just said hey, so hi.
Yeah, no, but I guess well, SJ's a teacher, so I don't know whether she's just better at rounding him up. But I mean, I think having two would be difficult. But I think the two of us together, we handled it.
Okay. No, you're not qualified to answer this question, Sparky. They've asked about a 4-year-old.
Okay, well, a 2-year-old is probably worse than the 4-year-old,
no,
right?
Right, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Oh, don't. I hate this. It's getting worse.
Welcome to the summer holidays and my 14-year-old 4-year-old.
Oh man, don't, because I challenge you to that. Because
this morning when I said, Jakey, please don't threaten to punch your brother in the head, turned around and said, I don't like you, I don't love you, and I don't want to live here anymore.
Oh.
And then stormed off.
Oh, wow. So she's heard Danny talking to you then.
I
would have been funnier if I'd have said he, but you know.
Well, yeah.
Jack at 2, I've had my first, I don't like Daddy. I've had that last week.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That cut me to the core, the first one.
Yeah.
Like,
it cuts you to the core, the first one, then you get to 4 and you've heard it all before. And you're like, well, you'll change your mind tomorrow.
But I don't know. You should go, though. That would be the advice. If I'm not qualified to say, I'd say go because you might find it. Your thought is this is going to be hell. It's going to be difficult. And there will be some like things in the way that, yeah. But, you know, there were brilliant moments when we were sat at the breakfast and like he's getting to choose like anything. Well, you know, when he doesn't eat that bowl of cereal that you make him in the morning downstairs or a bit of toast, I'm like, all right, fine then, have that. Fine. No, you don't want that. Fine, have that, because there's someone else has made it all and it's all fine. Like those bits, it comes back for you, and it is.
So, but is that luxury? Like, are you telling me that if it was just you and SJ going, you wouldn't do it a bit more highbrow?
Oh, it would be better. Like, yeah, it would be better. Love you, son. But,
Yeah. Hi, Jackson, who's listening back to this in 10 years' time.
Future Jackson. No, but I don't know. I don't know because
that's it, right? I do love hanging out with my kids. I really do, and I like going on holiday with them a lot as well. I wouldn't call it luxury. I would call it, we go, like, I came back, I had a week away, and I came back more tired than I went away. Yeah. It wasn't relaxing, but it was really good fun. I did enjoy it, and I can take them places, and I'm really proud of that. But oh my God, when I'm thinking luxury, I'm thinking it's just me and Jill, and that's it.
Yeah. There was like a moment where we went out on the balcony, like put him to bed. He was asleep, and we bought a bottle of rum on duty free, and we sat on the balcony and we just looked at the view and drank all evening, responsibly. And that felt luxury.
Not luxury. The luxury there would not be being confined to your balcony, but being able to go to a nice cocktail bar. Have some fancy Heston thing that's smoking as it arrives to you. That would be luxury, not a bottle of knockoff rum from off duty or.
Hey, it was Havana from duty free. No, all right, I'll give you that. But then that's like saying then you've got no luxury in your life ever again since you've had kids. And
welcome to Dad's Net.
Yeah. all right. I'll accept defeat here, but I'm trying to keep that luxury dream alive, guys.
Oh no, and it's not saying you'll never have it again, because they'll refuse to go on holiday with you in a few years, which
exactly
is fine by me at the moment.
Don't like Daddy, don't like holidays. Oh.
Yeah.
That's it. So my advice is you want to know how to book this luxury holiday for you, your missus, and your 4-year-old. Wait 12 years. And when your kid doesn't want to come anymore, then you book it.
So we're going with the actual advice. Wait, don't bother. The sky scanner thing, I thought, was a good one, but whether you call it luxury or not, that's up to you.
Well,
and the other one is go somewhere with childcare.
Again, disclaimer: we all love our kids.
Yeah, I do, and that's the whole point. Absolutely love them. It's not luxury, but there you go. Yes. Advice, please, says this one. How do you get a child to eat veg? He just won't eat anything green at all, ever. How do you do it?
Welcome to Dad's Net. I think. Yeah. Welcome to being a dad. That's just how it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shall I tell you one?
Eventually.
Yeah, one we've discovered recently is grow your own veg. So we've grown cucumbers, courgettes, tomatoes, growing peppers at the moment. And I say I've had very little involvement, but I will eat them. And same with the kids. If they can go out and they can pick the tomatoes, then they'll eat just a handful of tomatoes. They love going out and eating them off the plants. Like as if it's a naughty thing to do. Yeah. Oh, like as if it's naughty eating the tomatoes, you crack on. Eat as much fruit and veg as you like.
Yeah. Do you have to pretend
with courgettes,
really...
Jake doesn't like courgettes, but courgettes that we've grown and he's picked. Maybe I'll have some of that.
So a little bit of ownership there of the vegetables. That's interesting. How's Jackson with vegetables?
He's going through. He was like great at the start with I guess that's every child as well. Like they get to the weaning stage and you give him a little bit of broccoli and it's so sweet watching him eat it. And then he only eats beige stuff now. That's all he wants. I tried this tactic the other day and it worked. And he had a few carrots. We were watching an episode of Tractor Ted on Amazon, and there's an episode where they harvest all the carrots, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ring Tractor Ted and see if he can send us some of his carrots. And so then I pretended to ring Tractor Ted. And then the next day I got some carrots up Lidl and made them for him. And I was like, this Tractor Ted's carrots are here. And he's like, Mummy, Tractor Ted's carrots. And he ate some. 3. And then the rest went on the floor.
Oh, but still, that's a win. 3 carrots. Absolute win. Dark Knight says we turn it into a game. We let them make the peas into bushes, broccolis into trees, and then they pretend to be the dinosaur and eat everything. Oh, that is a genius.
Like that,
That's great.
Broccoli trees, like that is one of the that's a universal, right? Going, ooh, it's not broccoli, it's little trees. Do you like eating the trees? And for some reason, a lot of kids go, yes, I do. I love eating trees. Would you eat broccoli? No. Would you eat trees? Yes. Fine. Do it. Whatever.
We had, I think we had some relatives, some cousins or something who called broccoli trees. Like that's, like kids have their
what
own
they
words.
thought it was.
Yeah, that's. And then we also had some family friends who called broccoli monkeys because monkeys live in trees. So,
Okay.
tenuous,
Hey,
but
however it works. But there you go. There you see it's some desperate parenting.
Yeah.
Previously, it's like we would do anything just to eat some.
will you eat trees? No. Trees with monkeys in. Yeah. All right. Here's some monkeys.
I think that is the thing that you worry about the most, though. Because I just think you've got to get goodness in them. That's all I keep thinking is, where's the goodness coming from? He does eat a lot of fruit, luckily, but vegetables, please. The Coco Melon song, peas, time to eat your peas. That's worked for us in the past as well. Like, did you guys get that, or did you miss Coco Melon?
Intentionally missed it.
Time to eat your peas. Yes. I like to eat my peas, and then he eats some.
So we intentionally missed the Coco Melon phase, and then when we were on holiday, my kids were sat in the kitchen singing the creepiest little song to each other. They're going, Johnny, Johnny, yes, Papa, eating sugar, no, Papa, telling lies, no, Papa, open your mouth. And I had never heard this song before. And I just came into the kitchen and they're doing it in these creepy little kid voices.
Hey, it gets their earworms though, Jack, when they get in there.
And so had they been illicitly watching Coco Melon? Is that what it was?
Yeah, at their grandparents' house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
It's always Nanny and Granddad.
Coco Melon is odd because there is some quite, those weird, creepy songs. Then there's some songs where they don't even attempt to rhyme. They just go, I think I really care. I really like you. Yeah. And it's so strange. I can't work out whether it's genius or absolutely terrible, but they've made a lot of money off it. So probably.
I can't figure out how it's had the lifespan it's had.
There must be
It's
subliminal
like-
YouTube channel.
It's again desperate parents. Like, we need some noise, a bit songy, that's safe, that's not going to turn into some weird video on YouTube. And so like that, and it started there, and it's I think the people who did Coco Melon were just looking for nursery rhymes on YouTube for their kids to watch, and there weren't any, and they were like, well, I'll do that. And millions and millions of pounds later, and a merchandise deal. And it was a great idea having kids. What's that coming from, Andrew? Should we help that? We've got time to help that one?
Yeah, let's do this one. We'll do one more. Andrew says, what can I do to help with my patients? Any tips for stress relief? Thanks. I think you have to, there's a tendency to, when you're impatient and you're dealing with children, is to answer straight away, isn't there? And I think that there's a lot to be said for just going, pause, think, and then kind of say what you were going to say, maybe without calling them a terrible name or something. That's what I would kind of do.
I feel targeted there.
Well, what's your advice then, Jack? Is it
I don't know. I have no patience. Like I could have written that. Danny said to me the other day, like, don't forget to have empathy with the kids, because we come to the end of the summer holidays and I'm just like, I don't care why you have painted the entire house blue. Don't care. I'm cross about that. So it's hard when Jake's getting cross at stuff and I'm going, is that really the right response? What could we be doing instead of getting angry? What could we? And then I get angry and think, I don't want to follow my own advice.
Yeah.
I don't want to take 5 minutes to myself.
There is a lot to be said for that, though, and I know that they say it a lot about when babies are just crying and you just can't stop it. You just need to get out of the room. The baby will be fine for 2 minutes if you just go out of the room and just deep breath and come in. And I think that you could still use that up to a lot older as well. And the thing is, they're definitely going to be fine. If you walk out on a 5-year-old, they're going to be fine for a couple of minutes. You could just sometimes have to get yourself out of that situation, don't you? And just not be there, just so you can just collect your thoughts for a second before you come back in. And I think that's what you should do. However many of us do it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
go and have a sit down on the toilet, even if you don't need to sit down on the toilet, and literally just go and sit on there for
a room with a
minutes.
lock. Yeah.
And I mean that helps. I just sit. I really try and do this, and I just, when Jackson's really kicking off, I just sit on the floor, and go, okay, and I'm not that's my only response is I have got, like you, Jack. I'm like, I don't know what energy to give you back. I don't know what to do. So I go, okay, then, fine then. All right, you do that. And then I just sit down, and then he's like weirded out by that. Like, what the hell? What are you doing? Like, you're supposed, and I just go, fine. And then I just kind of don't talk to him for a minute, and I just sit on the floor. And then he's like, what are you doing, Daddy? Or like, he just comes round. It's they don't know what they're doing either, just like we don't know what we're doing. And it's just, we're just all figuring it out, aren't we? So don't feel bad on yourself, Andrew. Like, everyone gets properly stressed out with parenting because that's the rules. That's what it does to you.
Yeah, on those luxury holidays.
Hey, that's why I go on them, man. And then I can just, I'm going straight back to get some more bacon. That's always going to cheer me up. Come on.
Yeah.
Andrew said there that he said, thank you so much. I've been going for quick walks. I was going to say, on the stress relief side of his question, like I say this any time we have a question like this come in, sport. So I play basketball, and I haven't played basketball for 3 weeks now. And my God, can I feel it in my body? Like, Danny's listening, so expect a comment from her in a second. But I must have been an absolute nightmare to live with as the 3 weeks has progressed, because I haven't had my adrenaline release.
Get your release, yeah.
I haven't had that time for me to focus not on the kids, not on earning money, not on anything else. Just, there she is, Danny, going, yep.
Confirmed. No bed.
Well, no, it says "yep" in capital letters, but she might just be giving you the initials for the Yorkshire Evening Post. So I don't know.
Okay, could be.
Maybe she's tagged the Yorkshire Evening Post into this. I'm not sure.
But quick walks, going for a run, that helps me if I can't play basketball. Go for a run, and just get that out of your system. Just pound the pavement, pound a ball, pound something.
Pound something. Hi, Danny.
Oh, here we go. So the yep, if it was ambiguous, and I did doubt it was the Yorkshire Evening Post, it now just says confirmed knobhead. So there we have.
It's nice to have the support of my wife on my weekly podcast, isn't it?
Your job title on this.
Something's going to get pounded after this podcast, and it's not Danny. Let's just say that. Or Jack's going for a run, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, going for a run though, I would agree. That's kind of that's what I do. Really enjoy that, just getting out and about, fresh air. Like, I just listen to podcasts, and just it gets you out of that zone, doesn't it? And you're just doing something else. I think you're just about removing yourself from a situation. If you can do it for 30 seconds, great. If you could do it for 30 minutes, even better. Don't leave a 5-year-old while you're going for a run on his own. No.
Whack Cocomelon on. What were we just saying? Oh, no.
Perfect. All right, this is Loose Dads from Dadsnet. If you want to support us, we would really appreciate that. You can be an executive producer like Connor is, who's not even listening. You go to Patreon and pick one of the tiers there, patreon.com/loosedads. We're back next week on all your usual podcast places. We're live at 8:30 on Tuesday night. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That'd be great. 5 stars and a lovely glowing review. And we will see you next week. Thank you very much to Sparky.
See you guys.
Thank you to Jack.
Kit Kat Chunky.
And thank you to Danny, Dark Knight, Andrew, to all the other people, Leanne and Connor.
Joe, Brian.
And Wendy as well, of course. Both Wendy's.
Yeah.
Wendy the person and Wendy the other thing. And anyone else?
You're glad you weren't there now, Jim, weren't you? You're glad you weren't there.
I am, actually, to be perfectly honest. We're back next week. Jonathan, thank you as well to you. This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet.
Loose Dads, a Dadsnet original podcast.